And so I didn't go. So sometimes the person who's been injured, they can help you make that decision. If they don't want you to call 911 and you don't think it's life-threatening, don't do it. Okay? And but if you think that they're not thinking correctly, or they're, they took a hit in the head and they're not all there, then you can make that decision for them. But if they're coherent and then let them help inform whether or not you call 911. Okay? Attempt to locate a medical professional to assist in any first aid application. So, right away, Carl, if somebody goes down the lobby, I'm looking for Tim. I'm looking for Dr. Apple. I'm looking for got the little boy. Just became a paramedic.
Oh yes, Henry.
Anyway.
And Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. Looking for Ryan. Looking for a nurse. Somebody. And so I might say, hey, Josh, run see if you can find Tim. Run see. And Dr. Apple, you just sits right over there. Go see if you can get her out here, or whatever. Afterward, if it's a fall or an injury, this does not have to be done if somebody faints, or if they have chest pains, or if they have a seizure or something like this. But if it's a fall, if it's an accident, they tripped over something, they cut their leg, then I want you to write a brief report and include the names of the principals and witnesses. Okay? Doesn't have to be a long thing. Just Sam was coming up the steps. He was helping Sister so-and-so, and Sam tripped, fell down, busted his knee. He was bleeding. His mother took him to the hospital, and I saw it, and Bill saw it. That's all I need. So just a brief explanation of what happened, the principals involved, and any witnesses that were standing by. Okay? And you might have to ask for witness. Did anybody see Sister Johnson fall? I did. Come here, I need your name. And you turn that into me. Okay? If it's a heart attack or something that resembles a heart attack, person complains of a squeezing type chest pain, feeling of indigestion, nausea, sweating, weakness, lightheadedness, numbness in the extremities, a feeling of impending doom. All of these are symptoms, could be symptoms of a heart attack. So watch for those things. Have the person lie down in a slight inclined position with head and shoulders supported by coat or pillow. Calmly reassure the person. Now, they say loosen clothing, but let me just say it this way. Loosen any restrictive clothing only if absolutely necessary, and only with the permission of the person, and only with a witness present. And if you ever have to start helping someone in that respect, be careful with your hands. Be careful not to touch any area that could be considered private or personal. And you just want this to be a last resort, but sometimes it must be done. But those are the criteria that I'm looking for. It's absolutely necessary. You have their permission, and there's somebody there to witness it. Okay, that's the three. Those are the three criteria. Also, let's see what that says here. Let the person know that let them know what you're doing, so they don't become alarmed. So talk to them. I'm just going to lay you down here, Miss Johnson. Here, I'm just going to put your head right on your purse here. Everything's going to be all right. You're not alone. I'm right here with you. We're getting you some help. Miss Johnson, I'm going to take this purse right off your shoulder. Just very easy. Just talk to them, reassure them, and then call 911. Okay. Seizures can be caused by high fever, infections, injury to the brain, stroke, or epilepsy. The main concern when a person is observed to be having a seizure is to immediately call 911, and while waiting for them to arrive, try to prevent the person from harming themselves during convulsions. Maintain an open airway until the person regains consciousness. Gently place the person on the floor. Clear any immediate area of objects that could cause a person harm if they were to hit against them. If the person goes into convulsions, hold their arms and legs just enough to prevent injury. Don't pin them down. That's the most important thing. You just want to restrict their arms and legs enough that they can't cause themselves further injury. But don't pin them down. That's important. Do not restrict movement entirely, as you can cause further injury to the person and you may get injured in the process. Usually convulsions pass in 1 to 5 minutes, so it's not going to last forever. Okay? After it's passed, the person will be very tired and confused. Position them comfortably on their side in case they vomit, and wait till help arrives. And be ready for another convulsion because another one could come. Do your best to reassure them that help's on the way and that you're there with them. Okay? One of your primary responsibilities and privileges as an usher is to safeguard a distraction. So I'm moving out of the health area now, okay? There could be a lot of other stuff that goes on. Use your best judgment. But just know that you're authorized and deputized to deal with it. So if you see it happening, please don't just stand there wondering where Carl is, okay? I'm counting on you, all right? Move in and deal with the situation. Now we're going to move to non-medical. One of your primary privileges is to safeguard a distraction-free environment so that I can communicate the life-giving message of Jesus Christ. Constantly be on alert to a disturbance so that you may also provide assistance in the event of an emergency or disruptive adult. Each usher's responsibility for identifying distractions, emergencies in your section. Move quickly but discreetly to the area of the disturbance in your section. Determine the nature of the disturbance. If the disturbance is caused by a child or disruptive youth, approach the parent or the youth with a smile. Say smile.
Smile.
And say please. Say please. Join me in the lobby. Do not touch a minor. Do not touch a minor unless instructed to do so by the pastor. There could come a time when I might have to ask you to take a minor out of the sanctuary. But don't touch a minor unless you're instructed to do so from the pulpit. Okay? If it's an adult, quickly and calmly approach the adult with a smile. You can place your hand gently on their shoulder and say, please join me in the lobby. If the person continues to be disruptive, say, please join me in the lobby right now, or we will escort you to the lobby. Now, listen, we're living in a day when there's all kinds of people out there. There are some people who are mentally unstable, who are harmless, but can disrupt a service. And there are some people who are mentally unstable that are not harmless and can disrupt a service. And so in this day in which we're living, you don't know what you're facing. Now sometimes you may know the person, and sometimes you may not know the person. But was it last Sunday or the Sunday before? Right while my son was leading worship in a church in Nashville, a man went into another church in Nashville with a pistol and started shooting people. You can imagine my few minutes of when I first heard that happened at a church in Nashville. Well, there's a lot of churches in Nashville, but my son was leading worship in one of them. So I found out real quick, and it wasn't him. But it's the day we're living in. And so, I don't know what to say to you except to say, let God give you discernment. Use the wisdom God gave you. And once again, let me just say, you're the one. You're the one. And I could stop now and tell you a lot of stories about disturbances, and some of them are funny, some of them are not funny. But I was in a service in Lakeland, and I still have a chipped tooth today from this experience. But we were sitting there, and I was in the front row, sitting right by the pastor, and I heard a disturbance in the back of the church. And someone was like somebody yelling. And we were showing a movie, a Christian movie, Sunday night. And the dentist had let the screen down, and the movie had just started, and we heard this disturbance. And I remember turning, and I saw this guy with a three-piece suit on, sharp looking, coming up the aisle, and he's holding something in his hand. It was a big Bible, big family Bible, come to find out. And he was yelling something, and I couldn't discern what it was until he got just even with me. And here's what he was yelling: "How dare you turn my father's house into a movie theater?" And so he started up the stairs. Now, here we have, 4 steps? There we had 7 steps. And so when he got to the top of the steps, and everybody's just trying to get their wits about them, the movie's still going. What's going on? What's going on? And one usher was quicker than me, and the usher was starting up the steps. Well, this guy dropped his Bible, picked up one of our big ministers' chairs. We don't have them here, but in that church we had big ministers' chairs sitting across the front. He picked up one of those chairs and bowled that usher down on those steps. The chair just went to pieces, hit him right in the knees. Down he went. Well, now I'm on him. So I'm reactionary by nature. Some people are hesitant by nature. I'm reactionary by nature. So I'm on my way up the steps. And he starts through the choir loft. And he's throwing chairs. And I'm jumping over chairs. And he's heading for the screen. Well, Dennis sees him coming. He's up in the sound booth, and Dennis starts trying to pull the screen up. And so he catches the screen about the time I'm coming. Now, I remember, I think I was 23 years old, and I remember as I was jumping over those chairs thinking, should I rebuke him in the name of Jesus or tackle him? That thought came to my mind. And at 23, I was much more confident in my tackling ability than I was my rebuking ability. So in a split second, I decided to tackle. So I was coming in low. Right when he was pulling on that screen, and either his hand slipped or something, but he came out hard with his elbow. Boom! Hit me right in the face. Chipped my tooth. Almost knocked me out. But it did knock me out. And so when I got my wits about me, I grabbed him. Down we went. And as soon as I got him to the ground, he went completely limp. And I thought, oh dear God, I've broken his neck. Scared me. But thank God I hadn't. He just went limp, like he passed out. And now by this time, all of you guys were there. And stuck out. And movie kept going. But in the congregation, people were, I guess half of them thought it was part of the show, and the other half, I don't know what they thought. But I remember when I picked that guy up like this and went down with him, they cheered. But come to find out, he was a student at Southeastern Bible College, and so he had a religious spirit, and that was the whole deal. And so police came, got him, took him off. Now I hope that never happens here, please. But we've had some disturbances here, and I could tell you a bunch of stories about stuff that have happened here too. But the main thing I want you to know is if something happens, you're the one to deal with it, okay? You're the one to deal with it. We've got to protect these people. We've got to protect the integrity of the Word of God.